Process is underway here in the Central Lakes region of New Hampshire. The tree is going from green to the varying shades of reds and yellows and oranges. And we're at Courier Field in Plymouth, New Hampshire for this afternoon's ECAC Chevy Dealers Game of the Week. This is a Freedom Football Conference match between Western Connecticut State's Colonials and the Panthers of Plymouth State College. The Colonials are 3-1 and the Panthers are 2-1. I'm Tom Larson, as always, with Bob Norton.
I thought this promised to be a good football game. This has not been a warm and cozy place for Western Connecticut. They've never won here, but they come in today with a good football team, very good defensively. They've turned the ball over on defense 11 times on fumble recoveries. Plymouth State College, one of the best defensive secondaries in the country. They have 8 interceptions through 3 games. Both teams effective offensively as well.
One of the players we'll be watching is Matt Lefevre, a freshman quarterback from Western Connecticut. It was a week ago last Wednesday. He was told that the starting quarterback job was his. Then he went out on the following Saturday and threw for 3 touchdown passes, had just a great ball game against William Patterson.
You know, he's a very, very talented athlete, 6'1", 200 pounds, from Ocean City High School in Ocean City, New Jersey. 19 of 25 last week, 247 yards in addition to those 3 touchdowns. Passing at an effectiveness of 67% completion percentage. He's a good football player, good quarterback. They've found themselves one.
Should be a great challenge for this young quarterback because this Plymouth State team that he's up against leads the Freedom Football Conference in literally all of the defensive categories. They have given up only 19 points in their first 3 games.
Yeah, and leader of the pack, Dave Gibson out of Middleton, Rhode Island. He had a 35-yard interception return last week against Norwich. 92 tackles last year when he was ECAC All-New England. He had 10 tackles last week. They belted Norwich around. This kid's a good football player. Outstanding defense here at Plymouth State.
These 2 teams are playing for the 20th time today. Plymouth leads the series 19-1. They have beaten the Colonials 14 in a row coming into this game. We'll be back with the opening kickoff right after this. And we're about to start our football game at Charles Courier Memorial Field in Plymouth, New Hampshire. And the kickoff to Western Connecticut, taken by Saunders back at the goal line. He's in trouble at the 11-yard line, spun down there, and the Colonials will start from deep in their own territory.
One of the disadvantages of receiving the football is when you don't get a good return, you end up with a wet ball, wet field conditions, and you're inside the 15-yard line on the left hash mark. Western Connecticut takes the ball over against an outstanding Plymouth State College defense.
Just underway in the first quarter. Matt Lefevre, the freshman quarterback, rolls to the right side, floats a pass out on first down that is intended for Gale Saunders, but it is incomplete, broken up on the far sidelines. And we have 2nd down and 10, the offensive line for Western Connecticut. Carley and Presley, Atnas, Passarelli, and Aronson. Backs and receivers, Gessner, Saunders, Conroy, Lefevre the quarterback, Barnes the starting tailback, and Gagliardi is the fullback for the Western Connecticut Colonials. Winless forever here at Courier Field in Plymouth, New Hampshire. I formation behind the quarterback, Lefevre. Hands to the tailback. This is Barnes. He has some room coming straight up the middle, rips to the 26-yard line, and rolls to the 27. That's going to be close to a 1st and 10 for the Colonials, and it is 1st and 10 yardage. Defensive line, Hebert, Adebato, Lawrence, and Allison for the Panthers. Linebackers in the secondary, Criscone, Gibson, Busa, McLaughlin, Meredith, Yaculo, and Turcotte.
Plymouth State not used to that. Barnes just whacked that ball off tackle behind a lead block of the fullback and picked up big yardage, got them out of the hole.
1st and 10. Adjustments offensively for the Colonials. Barnes, the tailback, takes the handoff, tries the right side, runs into one of his own blockers, gets hit at the 29-yard line. The Western Connecticut fans who are on our side of the field saw something they didn't like, and they're trying to get the officials' attention.
Well, they're going to see something they don't like most of the day in terms of officiating calls. That's just the way fans are. Darnell Barnes out of Danbury, Connecticut, had a cut to the backside that time, didn't pick it up. He would have had nice yardage, picked up 2 yards, 2nd and 8 there at the 30 or about the 28-yard line.
And this is William Martin, who is wide to the left side for the Colonials. Lefevre puts one up in the air, and it is caught complete out to the 38-yard line. The reception for Western Connecticut by Mark Gessner, and covered over there by Mark Turcott. Gessner from Ansonia, Connecticut, which is a great football town.
Sure is. Ansonia, Shelton, that whole area, Naugatuck. That was a wide slot. They just ran that little turnout to Gessner. Quick three-step drop. Quarterback turned it out. Gessner ran down about 7 yards, did a little out pattern. He was a wide receiver in a wide slot formation, three-step drop connection.
So it's another 1st and 10 for the Colonials. And the handoff again is to Barnes. Barnes is hit at the line of scrimmage, as we mentioned as we started the telecast this afternoon. This is an outstanding Plymouth State defense, and Western Connecticut has moved to a couple of 1st and 10s consecutively here on their opening drive.
That was a nice defensive play there, though, on the power-off tackle. Cyril Allison, the big defensive end senior out of Mattapan, Massachusetts, played his high school football at Lexington High School, did a nice job of stuffing the play at the line of scrimmage. Plymouth State defense, along with all those first rankings, they have 8 interceptions in 3 games.
Ed Wiltshire has come into the game for Central Connecticut, a lanky receiver at 6'3". Lefevre flings a pass out that is complete in the flat at the 42, banged down at the 44-yard line. It will be short of a 1st and 10, but the Colonials are moving the ball on this opening series in the first quarter.
Yeah, that was a bootleg action, and Conroy, the tight end, just did a little out pattern to the left side, and actually, I think he would have had the first down had he just turned the ball upfield and run with it, but he delayed, sort of looked around for a cut, and then turned it back to the inside where the traffic was. All he had to do on reception of that ball was keep going the direction he was in, and I think he'd have picked up the extra 3 yards.
The receiver, T.J. Conroy, 6'2" and 230. 3rd down and 4 for Western Connecticut. The freshman will throw it again, and it is incomplete, intended for a diving Ben LaBelle. And 4th down now for Western Connecticut.
Well, Western Connecticut's offense did a nice job right there, Tom. They would obviously have liked to maintain the drive, but whenever you can take the ball from deep in your own territory at the 15-yard line, get about to midfield on the drive, you have helped yourself field position-wise. Punt here. Good punting in pre-game. Watched the punter hit the ball pretty well. Let's see what he does here.
Brent Bartolini, who is the lone returner for Plymouth, has returned 4 punts in his career for touchdowns, including one in the opening game of the season. There will be no return here. The ball rolls dead. Take a look at that touchdown from the first game of the season. This was against Maine Maritime here at Courier Field. A great return.
It is taken by Bartolini. He changes direction at the 40. Now he's going to go back the other way, and he's going in circles in pursuit, going backwards. Now trying to turn the corner, picks up a nice block. Still on his feet, moving down the sideline. He's got open field. He's down to the 30, to the 25. What a return by Brett Bartolini, who takes it all the way in for the touchdown.
Charlie Sherman from Channel 9 in Manchester with the call.
I guess it was a call.
And the first series, the first play from scrimmage for Plymouth State, knocked down for a loss. Bydro Williams, the starting tailback, and Craig Wilson got him for the Colonials. Here are your starting players for Plymouth State. First of all, offensive line. Prue, Ericalian, Belmont, Mason, and Horan across the front for the Panthers. Backs and receivers, Carey, Schubert, Boley, North, Sinatro, and Bydro Williams is the starting running back. We had anticipated Jose Raymond, and we'll see him later on. Loss on that first play of 2. The pass for Schubert is incomplete, over his head and a little bit behind him. You mentioned Bobby had an uncle who was a great player.
Yeah, I sure did. Charlie Schubert out of Manchester High School, Manchester Central High School, as we see the defensive line for Western Connecticut. Reed, Williams Bay, Sharp, and Wilson. Charlie Schubert's uncle, Steve Schubert, was a superb football player, punt return guy, wide receiver for the Chicago Bears for most of his professional career. Out of Manchester, New Hampshire. Played at the University of Massachusetts.
Linebackers and the secondary for Western Connecticut. It's 3rd down and 12 for the Panthers. Norris to throw, wide open and complete for the first down, out to the 38-yard line, complete to John Andrews. Junior 6'1" and 210 from Gloucester, Mass.
Well, Andrews lined up to the inside of Schubert on the right side. Schubert ran down the field, and Andrews just ran a little sort of drift pattern across the middle. You can see him find the hole in the zone, in that middle part of the zone, and beautiful pitch and catch between Norris and Andrews. Nicely conceived pattern. They found a hole in that Western Connecticut pass defense.
22 yards and the first down for the Panthers. Still in their own territory at the 37-yard line. Norris bangs into his running back, Bydro Williams, on the handoff, and Williams still manages to get to the 42-yard line and gain 4 on the play.
That's the kind of play that absolutely drives you bonkers as a defensive football coach, because Plymouth State has a nothing play here. They botch up the handoff in the backfield, yet by the time the play ends, they turn a nothing play into a 5-yard gain, 2nd down and 5 on a play that should have been stopped in the backfield. And as a defensive coach, Bydro Williams, you just can't believe that he picks up 5 yards out of that bust, but he did.
Receivers left and right for the Panthers. Norris to throw. Over the middle, it is tipped and incomplete. The pass was intended for Drew Levitt, number 80. And it'll be 3rd down and 5 for the Panthers.
Well, they ran the tight end a little flat pattern and ran Leverett across the middle, just trying to pick up that same zone that they completed the pass just a few moments ago. But they, Western Connecticut there got an excellent defensive linebacker drop from Desmond Cabrera, and he was able to deflect the pass.
Now 3rd and 5, and the Panthers have converted 1 third down opportunity on a 22-yard pass play just moments ago. The I formation behind Norris, couple of steps back and fires. The pass is complete. That's Bartolini down the sideline. Bartolini inside the 30 is taken down, but not before. He's gotten well into Western Connecticut territory, and another 1st and 10 for the Plymouth State Panthers.
Well, I tell you, Plymouth State did an excellent job there of picking up the blitz, and when you run the blitz inside, it's man-to-man coverage on the outside. It's pitch and catch between the quarterback, Norris, to Bartolini. Man-to-man out there. He beats the first man, and now it's down the sideline. Long way to go before the safety man finally comes over and makes the tackle as he went by Gene McCray. Quinzel Barnes finally comes over from the safety position. There's Barnes. He was a long, long way away to come over and make that play on Bartolini.
Brian Sinatra, number 44, is the fullback. Still Bydro Williams as the running back. Behind Josh Norris, the pitch to Williams. And Williams to the line of scrimmage plus a couple on 1st down for the Panthers.
Now, they ran toss there to Bydro Williams out of New Orleans, Louisiana. Just an option to try to take it outside or inside. All the block, the kick out was to the outside, so he just kicked it up inside, turned it up inside of where his tight end lined up, and ended up making himself about 3 yards, 2nd down at 7.
This is Hall of Fame Day at Plymouth State College. 3 individuals and 1 team will be inducted into the College Hall of Fame at some ceremonies that will take place on the campus this evening. Charlie Schubert is wide to the right side, and the pitch to Bydro Williams. Tries to cut it back, but he's slammed as he gets to the line of scrimmage, knocked down at the 25-yard line. May have lost a yard. Line of scrimmage at most, North.
Well, same play they ran before. That time Bydro Williams tried to cut it back, but Desmond Cabrera, who made an excellent play defensively, there you see his statistics for the season. The outstanding linebacker out of Elmont, New York, 5'10", 225-pound junior. On that cutback by Williams, Cabrera right there nailed him.
8 minutes and 50 seconds to play in the first quarter. We're scoreless to this point in the ball game. Norris straight back to throw. Little pass over here is complete to the fullback, Sinatra. And Sinatra is taken down on a nice defensive play, and it'll be a short gain for the Panthers.
That was an excellent play by Kevin Reed, the senior defensive tackle out of Stamford, Connecticut. It looks as if this play is going to be able to pick up some yardage as they flip the play pass, screen pass in the flat. But watch him come up, Reed come up. He just goes right through the blocker and makes the tackle. Superb defensive play, long field goal attempt.
Ball will be spotted at the 30-yard line. And the kick is up, and it is good. Plymouth State gets on the board first on the field goal kick by Plymouth's Paul Dascoli, who is now 3 for 4 for the season. That was a 40-yard field goal.
Well, his longest for the season was 42, and I watched both of the field goal kickers before the game, Dascoli and Kennett, and both of them were pretty consistent in pregame practice from the 40, 42-yard line, so that was within his range. As a 42-yarder for his longest kick, the 40-yarder there, 3-0 Plymouth State College with the lead. Pretty calm. He just bombed that one. No question about the distance.
And as the kicker approaches the ball, a whistle blows, and appears that Plymouth has called for a timeout.
Neither one of which you can play with.
These two teams are ranked number 2 and 3. Ooh, onside kick. And it only goes 9 yards, and Plymouth State covers it, so the Panthers will get an excellent, wait a minute. Western Connecticut gets it, excuse me. So Western Connecticut will have excellent field position. This is something that Plymouth State did in the opening game of the season, I've been told. They started the season with an onside kick.
Well, you told me that before the game. We talked about the potential they had to do some things that might be out of the ordinary. An onside kick at a non-traditional time was one of them. After the three-point conversion, the onside kick there, that would not have gone 10 yards, though. At the time that the ball was caught, was less than 10.
Ball is snapped at the 44. Fullback Gagliardi trying to turn the corner left side, and he is dragged down. He's a big, strong runner. Not that tall, but is solid. Colt Meredith makes the tackle, and Gagliardi, 5'10" and 210 from Bristol, Connecticut's Central High School.
Colt Meredith made a nice play there. Gagliardi makes some yardage. Meredith doesn't make that tackle. Meredith is a 6'1", 200-pound junior. Nice-looking athlete. A transfer from Northeast, and there's Gagliardi out of Central High School in Bristol.
7 minutes and 31 seconds to go. Panthers tried to use the element of surprise to their advantage, and on the kickoff ended up, looked like a reverse coming, and it is this way, and they lose ground as the eventual ball carrier for Western Connecticut, number 10, is Mark Gessner, the wide receiver on the right side, jumped over a potential tackler and ended up on the ground, and a loss on the play.
Well, Sean Murphy has this smelled out right from the word go. This is no play right now. There's Murphy by the blocker, had it all the way, read the play beautifully. No chance at all to run a reverse when you've got the linebacker, the defensive end in that situation. Sean Murphy sitting right in your backfield. Out of Elliott, Maine, played at Marshwood High School.
Marshwood has pretty good ball club this year, as a matter of fact, somewhere in the top 10 in the state of Maine. Lefevre aims one downfield, and it is incomplete. Juggled and just couldn't hold on as he got down to the 25-yard line. It was intended for Robert Bell, another Ansonia player.
Yeah, I think Meredith might have had a little bit of a tip on this ball as it came down. Looked like Bell was behind the defenders. The ball, you want that ball thrown high and dropped sort of down the chimney. That's a pretty well-thrown ball. Meredith looks as if Meredith gets Turcott, Mark Turcott, another one of the Marshwood guys out of South Berwick, Maine.
Well, Charlie Schubert is deep for Plymouth on the punt. Not long. Takes a pretty good roll for Western Connecticut. It's going to roll dead at the 17-yard line. That is a 31-yard punt. And as you saw, there is no return. A 3-0 ball game with 6:29 to go in the first quarter of play. The only scoring, the field goal, that came at 8:05, a 40-yarder. We talked a little bit about the way the series between these two teams has gone. It has been everything but all Plymouth State. They have won 19 out of 20. Last year's game was 19-12, and it's been 14 in a row for Plymouth State over Western Connecticut over the last 14 years. Plymouth State with the ball. The handoff straight ahead. That's Jose Raymond, the running back, in for his first carry of the afternoon. Gets to the 19-yard line. That'll be a gain of 2, maybe 3 yards. Plymouth State for the second time starts deep in their own territory.
Yeah, and as you would expect, starting deep in their own territory, pretty conservative offensive call. They're just trying to run power with the tailback up over left guard and left tackle, and they punch it out for a couple of yards. Second down and 8.
Brent Bartolini is wide to the right side for the Panthers, and it is second down and 7, so that was a gain of 3 by Raymond. fakes the handoff to Raymond, and the pass is intercepted at the 20-yard line, thrown right into the arms of the interceptor, who takes it back to the 10-yard line. Gene McRae, a senior, 5'7" from Brooklyn, New York, and the Colonials have the ball on the 6-yard line. First and goal to go.
Well, Schubert runs a deep pattern from the flanker position. McRae's just sitting in the zone. They run an out McRae side. Ball thrown a little bit behind the fullback in the flat. McRae just steps right in front of it, picks it off. He was just sitting on that pattern all the way. They ran the flanker off, fullback in the flat. McRae had short zone coverage to that side. He just read the play beautifully, intercepted the ball.
His first interception of the season, first and goal from the 6-yard line. Handoff, Gagliardi taken down immediately. Well, did get to maybe the 5-yard line, but no more than a 1-yard gain.
I'll tell you, Tom, that last pattern was beautifully played by the defensive back McRae, the senior out of Brooklyn. When you're in the short zone, you can just sit right in that zone, let that wide receiver go by you, because you know the safety man's got him deep. And he just sat there. They ran the fullback out in the flat, read it all the way. As the ball was thrown, just stepped and thrown in front of the receiver, picked it off.
That was linebacker Rocky Criscone with that last tackle for the Panthers. No gain on the play. Still second and goal now from the 6. And down goes Lefevre, and a big loss takes him back to the 16-yard line. This Plymouth State defense trying to push the Colonials out of even field goal range.
Well, they came with the blitz on the inside. Nathan Buser, the linebacker, to the right side. Everybody is coming. They just blitz everybody inside the line. There's Buser, 27, the linebacker. Great pressure from the inside by Plymouth State.
Auto 75, I think, is in there too, North.
Yep, Kevin Hebert, the defensive end out of Somersworth, New Hampshire, 6'4", 230 pounds. But it was a linebacker pressure that caused him not to be able to block the play.
Well, it was first and goal. Now it's third and goal, but from the 16 rather than the 6. The pass to Bell. Corner of the end zone. Touchdown. Beautiful pass by the freshman Lefevre. And the Colonials take the lead at 6-3.
That was a beautifully thrown ball. Mark Turcotte was the defender. Not bad coverage, but he had to step on him deep. And that ball thrown by Lefevre right down the well, high enough so that Turcotte could not get a hand on the ball, and right down the well into the hands of the receiver,
Bob Bell.
Number 84, Bob Bell. Now the conversion.
By Adam Kennett. No good. So it stays at 6-3. Well, Pop Shortle down in Ansonia would be proud of his Ansonia kids. There are 2 receivers on this team. That was a freshman quarterback.
Boy, beautiful ball.
Who had such a terrific ball game against William Patterson last year, has thrown yet another touchdown pass. Lefevre was 19 for 25 last week for 3 touchdown passes. And now he has completed his first of this afternoon.
Well,
Robert Bell.
Yeah, you can't throw a better ball than that. There you see Bell picking that one up with 1 foot in bounds. That's pretty good coverage and a beautifully thrown ball. As I mentioned after it was first run, you can't throw the ball better than that. Anything short of that's knocked off by Turcotte. He just got the ball down the well, up over the defender, came down into the hands of the receiver before he went out of bounds. Receiver Bell kept his foot in bounds. Beautifully thrown ball, touchdown.
I think I have to explain a little bit more. There's the scoring drive, only 6 yards, 3 plays in 1:21 seconds. And of course, Western Connecticut ended up with a good opportunity as a result of recovering the onside kick. They were given the ball in Plymouth State territory. And the kickoff is taken by Schubert at the 17-yard line. Brings it out on the far side, taken down at the 31-yard line. That's where the Panthers will start. Pop Shortle, whom I mentioned a moment ago, is perhaps one of the great high school football fans in the country. Lives in Ansonia.
I saw that was a front row special you guys did. I remember that.
He is at every Ansonia high school football game and said he wants to be buried under the crossbars so that he only miss the road games. In his home, it's a veritable museum of Ansonia high school sports. A couple of Ansonia kids play for this Western Connecticut team. Pop Shortle is a very unique man. Norse with the handoff, and straight ahead Bydro Williams, and it appears that the tailback spots being alternated series to series Number 11, Bydro Williams, is in that spot this time. And on the last series for Plymouth State, it was Jose Raymond's number 34, Jeff Gallagher, with the tackle this time for the Colonials.
Bydro Williams, a native of New Orleans, Louisiana, went to high school in Ledyard, Connecticut. Western Connecticut inside defensively, making it tough for Plymouth State. They haven't earned the yardage.
First quarter, 6-3, Western Connecticut. 3 minutes and 35 seconds to play. I formation behind Norse. Handoff. Now it's Raymond as the running back. Gets hit a couple of times and just can't find any room to go anywhere. May have gotten a yard, but I'm not even sure of that.
Well, Bobby McLean out of Rahway, New Jersey. Rahway High School, 5'7", 175-pound senior, strong safety, gave quick support in that play as the running back Raymond tried to take the ball outside, and not allowed to do that by McLean. Jose Raymond out of Wakefield High School, Wakefield, Mass.
3rd down and 3. Bydro Williams, the tailback. Schubert wide right. And a timeout. First head coaching job after 20 years at various locations as an assistant. Norris throws over the middle. It is incomplete. Just as the ball got there, the intended receiver was hit, and that was Chris Boley. And he took a shot that might have kept him from catching the ball.
In talking to some of the Western Connecticut people, one of the things about their football team that they feel very strongly about is that their defensive football team is, they've been decent in the past on defense, but this is an excellent defensive football team, which they think is going to hold them in good stead over the season.
It's William Martin who is deep for Western Connecticut. And the punter is Chris Boley, number 86. Martin at the 25. Gives a little bit of ground and taken down. Actually lost yardage on the punt return, a 35-yard punt, and he lost 5 on the return. Colonials will begin this drive. They mark it at the 24-yard line. They lead by a score of 6-3.
Well, that's great punt coverage by Jason Marcel. You just never had any opportunity for the blocks to develop. Marcel, great speed down the field, made the tackle. Jason Marcel, number 5.
WCSU, Western Connecticut State University, in the blue and the white. Plymouth State College, the home club, in the black and green. Colonials with the ball and the handoff. Tailback straight ahead across the 25, gets to the 28-yard line. Justin Wright, the ball carrier, in for the first time. They've used Darnell Barnes as the tailback to this point.
Justin Wright is an outstanding ball carrier of this Western Connecticut team. 5'9", 175 pounds, out of Laurel Springs, New Jersey. And on that play, he picked up, there wasn't much blocking up front, didn't have much of a crease, but slithered through for about 4 seconds and 6.
There's T.J. Conroy, who was in motion. Handoff again for Justin Wright. Tries that right side. May have gotten to the 30-yard line. He's the number 3 rusher in the Freedom Football Conference with 86 yards a game, coming into this one after he sat out the entire 1996 season.
And even though he hasn't played quite as much in the opening series of this game, he leads the team clearly in carries, 82 carries over the course of the season coming into today's game, 374 yards gained, averaging 4.2 a carry. Darnell Barnes, half those carries, 41.
Ball nose end at the 35-yard line. 3rd down and 4, Western Connecticut. Conroy moves from the right side over to the left side. Lefevre will throw and does. The pass is complete, short of the 1st and 10 mark. And then there's some banging and bumping going on. Let's see where they spot the ball.
Well, that was great defense by Plymouth State College in that situation, because it looked on the reception of the ball that they were going to be able to get the first down. But number 7, Mark Turcott, came up along with Rocky Criscone, the original belt right there. But now Turcott's going to get a shot, and here comes Criscone, and Criscone makes a tackle that I believe keeps him short of the first down by about a yard.
Yeah.
That was just superb defensive effort by Turcott and Criscone. Turcott out of Marshwood High School, and Elliott Maine, Criscone out of Hill, New York.
Bartolini is back. That reception, by the way, by Ben LaBelle. Bartolini, ooh, good coverage, but the ball takes a reverse hop. It rolls against the Colonials and comes back, and finally rolls dead at the 30, where are they going to mark it? 36-yard line. 1st and 10 there for Plymouth State. Ball back to Plymouth State, the Panthers. 1st and 10, their own 36-yard line. Norse wants to throw, throws it, and should have been complete, but it was just flat out dropped.
Well, what they did was they had flanker as a slot to the right side, flanker in the split end, slotted to the right side. They just drove them off, and they were trying to slip the fullback out into the backfield. See 31 there, the fullback, just trying to slip him out, clear that zone out, run him out in the backfield. Drops the football. Pretty good coverage there by Western Connecticut anyway, because there's Gene McCrae, as he was on the interception, just sitting there in zone coverage in the flat.
Matt Botts had it, couldn't hold on. He is the fullback, with Bydro Williams lined up as the tailback for Plymouth. The pass again, almost intercepted again. It was intended for Bartolini, and again it was Gene McCrae who stepped right in front, had it, and just couldn't hold on. If he did, there was nothing but green grass in front of him.
Well, once again, he's just sitting out there in the flat in the zone, you see, and they're running Bartolini by him, but he's released to just play short, flat zone there. Reading the quarterback, jumped on that ball, almost had his second interception.
Yeah, if you're a green and black person, that was kind of scary. But it's 3rd down and 10. Out of the shotgun. And Norse, line drive over the middle. It is intercepted after a tip at the 48-yard line, 43-yard line. Great play defensively for Western Connecticut. And it was picked off by number 13, Quinzel Barnes, whose brother is the running back, Darnell Barnes. They are both hometown kids from Danbury, Connecticut.
Plymouth State had some success earlier in the football game, making that pass into the middle of the zone, but that time the pass was deflected. Picked up there by Darnell Barnes. Johnny Andrews, who caught the earlier pass over the middle and trying to pick up the hole in the zone. That time it was off the fingertips of Andrews, and sitting back in there was Quinzel Barnes in free safety, and he picked up the tip.
Football games so often decided by turnovers, and here are 2 interceptions early in the game. Both here in the first quarter for Western Connecticut. They're going to try the reverse with a pass at the end of it going the other way. Wide open out there is Bill Martin at the 20-yard line. And Martin's going to scoot in for the touchdown, the second of the game for Western Connecticut. 35 yards. They had tried a reverse coming the other way earlier that went nowhere. This one was going from the near side to the far side, and you could see there was pass coming at the end.
Well, Plymouth State killed the reverse run when they ran it earlier. But I want to tell you, when they threw this football, Martin was 25 yards behind anybody. He's off on the right side. Here comes the reverse. No one near him. Watch how open he is. He's just running down the field. There's absolutely no one near him. Everybody a chaser now. Reverse off the pass off the reverse. Extra point good. Great play. Well conceived by Western Connecticut. Beautifully thrown ball. Wow.
Well, Plymouth State scored first with a 40-yard field goal, but all of the rest of the scoring in the game so far has been done by Western Connecticut, and the score is 13-3. Scoreboard on the athletic building here to the left is showing 10-3, but 13-3 is the correct score. 16-yard pass to Bell for the first touchdown, and this one was 35 yards to William Martin. The first extra point was missed. This one is good. 13-3, Western Connecticut.
Collapsing on the run.
John Servino, head coach at Western Connecticut's got to like the way this game's been starting out. The kickoff goes out of bounds down at the Plymouth State 9-yard line. They trail 13-3. Norse rolls left, throws the pass out. Was nowhere close to anyone. If it was intended for anyone, it was probably Charlie Schubert, but it was well over his head and about 5 yards beyond him.
Well, that was a good decision by the quarterback, Norse, because they ran just a little pattern into the short side of the football field. The room is to the right side. Ball's almost in the middle, but more room to the right and the left, and there just wasn't anybody to throw the ball to. He threw it out of bounds.
Bartolini is wide to the right side. So is Bydro Williams. the fullback, the only running back, and he gets the handoff call. Sinatro across the 35 has to battle hard just to get a yard out of that. And 3rd and 9 coming up now for the Panthers.
Well, Western Connecticut's defensive line has done an excellent job of really making Plymouth State College's offense work for everything they're getting. Dexter Williams Bay, Sharp, Wilson, Gallagher, Reed, linebackers Cabrera, Dorson. Tough.
Western Connecticut coming in ranked number 2 in New England in Division III. And Plymouth State ranked 3rd. Out of the shotgun, Norse lots of time to throw and zips one over the middle that's complete at the 47-yard line. And that'll be a 1st and 10 for the Panthers. The shotgun seemed to give him time to throw.
Gave him a little bit of time, but Western Connecticut really had, I thought, pretty good linebacker position there with Desmond Cabrera and Jeff Gallagher taking pretty good drops. But this is a pretty well-thrown ball by Norse. Good time out of the shotgun. Now he's going to look right and drop that ball right in there between the linebacker coverage. Beautifully thrown ball by Norse, right between Gallagher and Cabrera.
Bydro Williams, the tailback. Western Connecticut defensive lineman across early, and flag is thrown.
Yes, but these are two very, very competitive. You look at the standings in the league, and this side by each in almost every offensive and defensive category.
And that was another game that was decided by turnovers. I think there were 6 Western Connecticut turnovers in that game, and they lost it 19-12. The pitch to Bydro Williams, and Williams to the 46-yard line. That's into Western Connecticut territory, but a small gain, just about 2 yards. It is 2nd down and 3 yards to go now for the Panthers.
That time Bydro Williams did a little tap dance there as he got that ball. He was trying to run the ball up off tackle, but usually when the back is sort of tap dancing around and they're very uncertain as to where to run, means you got pretty good defensive line play, not any holes up there, and it's undecided.
Drew Levitt is wide to the right side and Bartolini to the left for the Panthers. Again, the I formation, Sinatro and Williams takes the pitch back. Williams has some room, gets down inside the 40-yard line to the 38, 1st and 10 for PSC.
That time Williams made a nice cut. He's pretty upright runner from the waist up stand, sort of runs with a sort of a straight stance. But this time he makes a little cut. Watch him right back here. Make that linebacker miss. Nice move by Bydro. Another nice little cut to pick up a couple of yards. But the beautiful move right a couple of yards beyond the line of scrimmage made Desmond Cabrera with
Jose Raymond, who has worked his way up from deep on the junior varsity depth chart to starting job, takes the handoff and just powers straight ahead down to the 30-yard line. Nice run by the 5'4", 183-pounder out of Wakefield, Mass.
Well, that was superb offensive line play, too, and Ray may be the first one to say that. The offensive line for Plymouth State blows Western Connecticut off the ball. Look at that thrust at the line of scrimmage. Western Connecticut's defensive line for the first time this game was just driven off the football by Plymouth State's offensive line, and Raymond had a nice pickup.
Raymond scored the only Plymouth State touchdown in their only loss of the season, 10-9 to Brockport. That was in the 2nd game of the season. 2nd down 2. It's Jose Raymond again. Bumped at the line of scrimmage, down at the 30-yard line. No gain on the play.
Yeah, I tried to slide that one outside, and there's just nothing there. The blocks are not designed. That time, the right side of the line took the defensive line from Western Connecticut a little bit off to the right. So when Raymond made that cut to the right, he was running right into the flow of where the blockers were taking the defense. The only chance he had there was to cut that back up inside, take what he could get.
You like a guy like Raymond, and Coach Kemp says he admires his perseverance, and he's gone from junior varsity to a solid contributor and a starter. We are pleased, he said, with his performance. 3rd and 2. Raymond takes the handoff, gets the 1st down. Over the right side of his offensive line.
That was just fullback isolation, up over guard and tackle. No messing around on that play. Not sliding that thing to the outside. He stuck right on the tail end of the fullback and rammed it right up over right guard and right tackle. Power football, power in the I formation. Not power I, but the power of the I formation with the fullback leading.
The ball rests at the 26-yard line. 1st down, PSC. I formation with receivers to the right and to the left. It's Schubert to the left side. Norse gives a handoff to Raymond, and the little guy, squat little guy, is a workhorse on this drive.
It appears here, Tom, as if Plymouth State College has made a decision on this series that they're going to just try to win the battle at the offensive line against the Western Connecticut defensive line, and that this is going to be a ball control series down the field. Sometimes you have to do that to reestablish your offensive continuity, and they're doing a nice job of it here.
Offensive line for Plymouth State averages 6'1" and 273. The front four for Western Connecticut, a little over 6 foot and 240. Fake the pitch. Handoff goes to the fullback, Sinatro. And Sinatro totes it inside the 20 to the 16-yard line.
That's what happens when you've been watching the tailback, and you run that counter to the fullback off that fake. That's toss fake, and you come back, run counter inside. Watch this counter play. Toss fake, trap inside. Right guard pulls, traps. The fullback right off the tail of the guard, number 72, picks up the yardage just short of the first down.
9 minutes and 54 seconds to go in the first half. 13-3, Western Connecticut. Plymouth State, though, making some noise. High formation, receiver to the right. Jose Raymond steps away from a tackler, and Jose Raymond's going to take it in for the score. Jose Raymond with a touchdown for Plymouth State. And the score is 13-9.
Well, this is a nice little run by Jose Raymond. He just takes it up over left guard, left tackle. Now, pretty well stopped at the line of scrimmage. Slide it out. Everybody converge, slide that thing out. Raymond does so and runs it down the sideline, or just inside the sideline for the touchdown. Nice extra point's going to be good on a big hook.
So that makes it a 3-point ball game, 13-10 Western Connecticut, as Plymouth State is back within 3. We're in the second quarter, and we'll be back with more on Nesson after this. And the kickoff taken at the 10-yard line. For Western Connecticut by Gale Saunders. He can fly. Saunders out to the 30-yard line, and a big pile of people at the 31. He's somewhere under there. And the Colonials will start 1st and 10. Matt, it's spelled like Ray Bork, but it's pronounced Burke. He's the quarterback's coach for WCSU. The Colonials played his college football here at Plymouth State. Just 2 years ago, he was wearing the green and black.
Rob Benjamin, the special teams player out of Gloucester High School, Gloucester, Massachusetts, a sophomore, did a nice job there of wedge breaking as he was the first man down.
Matt Lefevre, the freshman quarterback for Western Connecticut, having another good ball game. He's already thrown for 1 touchdown pass. Here is the handoff. Here's a hit. That's to Justin Wright. Boy, he goes nowhere. We had expected a defensive match, and there's been some fine D, although there are some points on the board with time left in the half.
Yeah, there are, but that play just took a little too long to develop, and Dave Gibson, the linebacker out of Middleton, Rhode Island, Middleton High School, watch this. A little too long, finally develops, and none of the blocks have been sustained at the line of scrimmage, and Gibson just drills the play.
They lose a yard. Wright comes out for Western Connecticut. Mark Gessner is the receiver wide to the near side, and Ed Wilcher to the left as Lefevre is back to throw. Throws it over the middle. It is incomplete. May have been intended for Saunders, who had come across short.
Yeah, I think that he might have been trying to throw the ball to Gessner on a little curl, and he lost the football when he threw it. Gessner was wide open doing a curl from his flanker position, curled up over the middle, and he really had no one in front of him. But I thought the quarterback, Lefevre, might have lost control of the football.
John Servino from Western Connecticut in his 6th season at WCSU. Longest coaching tenure in school history. They've only been playing the game since 1970. And he has had 2 consecutive winning seasons. On his way to a 3rd. They throw it again, and there's a tug-of-war for the football. It falls incomplete. Out at midfield at the 49-yard line. It was intended for Saunders, and it was defended by Mark Turcotte.
Yeah, that time Lefevre tried to find the hole in the zone between the short and the deep man, and Turcotte, the cornerback, makes a nice play. He's the short man in the zone. He's trying to just find that hole in the zone. But watch 7, the short man in the zone, come back to the play and knock the ball down. Excellent play by Gessner coming back. He has short zone coverage, and he just makes a good play. Come back and knock that down.
Bartolini takes the punt. He'll have a chance to return it. from the 33-yard line. Gives ground as he did for a touchdown back in the opening game of the season, trying to find some daylight and cannot, and is down at the 28-yard line. Someone said ever since he scored that touchdown in the opening game by giving up ground, he's been doing that, and you really don't want to do that on a regular basis.
No, but sometimes when you have early in the season, when you have a guy that has some success making that kind of play, there's just an encouragement to make it again. You just think, well, I did it one time, I can do it again. And most of the time, you want your kickoff or punt return guy to hit the ball upfield first. This is not going to be productive most of the time.
So it'll be 1st and 10 starting from Plymouth State's 29-yard line. Matt Botts was the lone running back, and a timeout.
Norse didn't like something that he saw at the line of scrimmage and called timeout. And, you know, I think that's a smart move by a quarterback, because if there's anything that's underutilized in football, it's first half timeouts. So, you know, you worry about timeouts at the second half. As a coach, I never worried about players using them in the first half, because they don't mean the game or the chance to win the game usually at the end of the half. And frequently, you end a half with no, you know, haven't used any of them. That time, he saw something he didn't like at the line of scrimmage. He called timeout. There's 8:22 remaining in the game. May not have another occasion the rest of this half to even need to use a timeout.
Just an early reading, Nort, but it appears that we're watching a football game, and a pretty good one, between two rather evenly matched ball clubs.
Oh, I thought so coming in. When you looked at the statistics of both teams thus far in the season, you saw them matched up in pretty evenly on almost all categories. And the one thing that was most important to me, they both were playing outstanding defensive football.
Bartolini now has -5 yards punt returning, and that's for the #1 punt returner in the Freedom Football Conference, but negative yardage today. Norse was going to throw and just didn't get a chance to. Down at the 25-yard line.
Yeah, he did a pretty good job there of stepping up in the pocket, and he had some pressure from the left defensive end, Kevin Reed. Now, so he sees it, steps up in the pocket, but just gets tripped up by the right defensive end, Greg Wilson, out of Townsend, Mass, North Middlesex. Played for Sandy Ruggles at North Middlesex, who's the head coach at Merrimack College. They've got a great program, have had a great program, and superb defensive play there.
2nd down and 14 for the Panthers. Norse rolls right, looks downfield, and fires down there for Bartolini. It is tapped around and falls out of bounds and incomplete. Defender got a hand on it first. Bartolini did have a shot on it, and then it bounced out of bounds. That's Gene McCrae, who is back there defending again, isn't it? Number 5.
Yeah, it is. Gene McCrae, again, he's just sitting right on. See McCrae just in the zone defense, just sort of hangs right up there, watches the quarterback, and just tries to go to the ball. McCrae has done a nice job of settling in his zone coverage, watch the quarterback, and then try to react to the football.
Yeah, 6 interceptions already and 101 passing attempts for Norse. 6 last year, but many more attempts. And out of the shotgun, he'll unleash another one. Floats it long downfield. It's intended for Schubert, who just couldn't quite get to it. He was gaining some ground on McCrae, but the ball was still 5 yards beyond him, and the clock stops with 7 minutes and 29 seconds to play in the first half. There's the snap and the punt. William Martin going to let it bounce, and it goes by him, and now he'll let the ball just roll, and it's dead at the 34-yard line. And there it will be 1st and 10 for Plymouth State's Panthers. 1st and 10 for Western Connecticut. The freshman quarterback, Matt Lefevre, takes the handoff, keeps it himself, throws the pass. It is complete to Conroy. 1st and 10 and into Plymouth State territory, down at the 46-yard line. That'll be a gain of just about 20 yards.
That's a very difficult pass to defend. You have the tight end, T.J. Conroy, who's coming out of bootleg action, just running out into the flat. Plymouth State College was not defending that effectively as they ran a flanker down the field and the tight end into the flat, but it's all going to be called back. Penalty here. It's bootleg action to the right, bootleg to the left behind a lead blocker, and run your tight end out into the flat and try to catch the defensive secondary peeking into the backfield. Colt Meredith that time reacts to make the tackle. We have the penalty call. Let's see what it is.
Haven't seen an indication yet, North.
I haven't either. I think it was an illegal block is my guess. Completion, illegal block.
charge to Western Connecticut.
Well, the result is going to be 1st and 10, or 1st down and 6 for Western Connecticut.
Yeah, 10 yards to the point of the foul.
Saunders is wide to the right side. And the pitch, Darnell Barnes, well covered by Plymouth State, and Barnes goes down at the 38-yard line, gain possibly a yard on the play.
Well, Plymouth State College got excellent play that time. Turcotte strung it out, eventually got knocked to the ground, but not before he delayed the play enough for Joe Adebato, the defensive tackle, 6'1", 245 out of Saugus High School, Saugus, Massachusetts, to react over and make the play. Excellent reaction by Adebato, big guy at 245 pounds. He and Bill Lawrence, the junior tackle, 6'1", 258 out of St. Thomas Aquinas High School in Dover, New Hampshire, pretty active on the inside.
And a timeout called for by Western Connecticut State. Matt Lefevre, the freshman quarterback. That's Gibson with the pursuit for Plymouth State. And Barnes goes down after a gain of just a yard. Lefevre, the Freedom Football Conference Rookie of the Week after that performance against William Patterson in a 40-14 win last week. Not a surprise, by the way, that as a freshman he is the starting quarterback. As he came into Western Connecticut, he came in and a lot of people realized that he might well be the starting quarterback before the end of the season, and it happened fairly early in the season, game 2 or 3.
Yeah, when you're a freshman and you're dropping balls down the well like he did on that touchdown pass earlier in the game that he threw to Robert Bell, you're a pretty talented player. Out of Ocean City, New Jersey is Lefevre, and has a nice touch on the football.
He bends under on 2nd and 6, 6 minutes and 14 seconds to go in the half, and he's down at the 31-yard line.
Blitz. Criscone, the linebacker, nobody touched him. You have beautifully timed blitz by Rocky Criscone, the junior linebacker. He's going to almost beat the handoff into the backfield. There's Criscone, 53. No chance at all. Fullback has no chance, Gagliardi, to block Criscone. Usually that'll be the fullback's man to pick him up on that kind of blitz, but he had no opportunity there. Criscone just about beat the handoff back there.
Oft times with freshman quarterbacks, you'll see a lot more interceptions than touchdowns thrown. You'd like to see a ratio of 2 touchdowns to 1 interception. So far this year, 5 touchdown passes, only 1 interception, and Lefevre gives the handoff straight ahead. Darnell Barnes with a gaping hole right up the middle. Excuse me, not Barnes, but Justin Wright, number 22, the ball carrier, just short of a first down.
Yeah, he's upset with himself, too. He's very, very upset with himself because he had much more yardage, just a little full block draw. See, tripped up, goes down. That was good enough for the first down, and he's watching a little trip up right there, and the Justin Wright, the tailback out of Laurel Springs, New Jersey. I know he thinks he should have made the first down there.
Under 5 minutes to play in the ball game.
Yeah, those
in the first half, excuse me.
Yeah, those backs don't like to be ankle tackled.
Snap was high. Punter has to go up and get it, and Bartolini takes it at the 22-yard line. This time comes straight upfield, knifes to the right side, gets across the 30-yard line to the 31. The punt was 34 yards and the return was 8.
Yeah, the coach liked that return a little bit better than the other one. He just headed that thing up north, didn't mess around with it, and just picked up whatever was there. You know, most of the time, what you want your punt returner to do, number one, you want him to catch the football. That's number one. Number two, you want him to get what the play will give him. If he just heads the ball upfield 5 or 6 yards, you get that out of it, fine. If you can break something after that, bonus.
Bartolini has returned over the course of his career a total of 4 punts for touchdowns. Pass over the middle is complete to the fullback Sinatro at the 35-yard line.
Number 44, Brian Sinatro.
Well, that's a high percentage pass there. They just, I think that was designed to go to Sinatro. It looked like he was his primary receiver. Drove everybody down the field, flank a tight end and split end, and they just dropped Sinatro from the fullback position out into the up over left guard, left tackle, and hit him with the ball.
The gain was 4 yards. 2nd down and 6 for the Panthers. Norse looking left, looking right. Both ways again. The snap, back to throw, being chased, gets away from a tackler, fires the pass, complete to Bartolini, and tackled at the 38-yard line.
That was an excellent job by Norse. He was under duress in that situation, being chased down by the Western Connecticut defense led by Kevin Reed, the left defensive end, but he does a nice job of avoiding Reed. Now watch Reed. Reed comes into the play right there. Norse gets around him and just fires the ball on a quick out pattern to the wide receiver. That was a well-executed play by Norse, the quarterback, as he connects.
2 yards for the first down. Third down for the Panthers. I formation. Norse has receivers left and right, and it's to Jose Raymond for the first down. Raymond has been a very effective runner and has one of the only Plymouth State touchdown of the game so far.
You know, that previous pass receiver was Bartolini, and only a sophomore, 5'8", 170. Played his high school football at Milford High School in Milford, Massachusetts, but prepped at Bridgeton Academy up in Bridgeton, Maine, which is for many, 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 many years has been a great place to develop academically and athletically as a football player.
First down for the Panthers from their 43-yard line. Norse looks downfield, down the right sideline, and it is broken up, almost intercepted, nicely covered by the Colonials down at about the 25-yard line. That pass was intended for Joel Carey.
Yeah, Adler Lafontaine from Brooklyn, New York, beautifully defended. He's just got this play defended all the way, but excellent use of the body there by the wide receiver. Carey almost enabled him to catch the football. See, he just goes up, uses his body to keep Lafontaine away with that excellent coverage, almost able to get up there and catch the ball.
There's Norse, so forth for the ball game, spins away from a tackler and protects the ball, holds on, but the sack at the 35-yard line for the Colonials, and a big loss for the Panthers.
Western Connecticut here comes with the blitz here. Both linebackers coming through, and Norse is just fighting for his life back there as they brought Gallagher and Desmond Cabrera, the two inside linebackers.
Too many white jerseys for the ones in green to block.
Yeah, well, they had 6 rushing, and they didn't have enough guys in it. You had 6 rushing and 5 blocking. You got 1 out of 10 unaccounted for.
Now with a shotgun on 3rd and 18. Norse throws for Bartolini, had his hands on it, and then is cut down by McRae. And 4th down for the Panthers with 2 minutes and 3 seconds to go in the first half. Good football game here at Charles Currier Memorial Field in Plymouth, New Hampshire.
Well, senior Gene McRae is having himself a football game here. Bartolini was go way up in the air to catch that ball. A long curl, and McRae comes right up underneath him to disrupt his reception. He's not able to hold on to McRae, playing exceptionally well for Western Connecticut at the corner position.
Boley, the punter. William Martin, the returner, waiting for Western Connecticut at the 30-yard line. Boley's punt is away from the 25. Martin moves in on it. It will bounce. He looks like he may have touched it, but apparently not. And it's going to be downed at the 21-yard line.
Well, we just talked about that a few moments ago. You know, they got a little bit of a roll out of that, but he's very indecisive when he sees that kick as to whether he ought to catch it or not. Made the right decision the last time, get away from it. That time he almost got between decisions, and had that ball just nicked him a little bit as he tried to get away from it, that had been Plymouth State football.
That was a 44-yard punt. His reaction after the ball went past him indicated that it had not touched him, but from here it kind of looked like it might have, and it would have been just a nick on the left shoulder. Handoff for Western Connecticut is to Justin Wright, and Wright gets a few yards out of that.
Wright's a little happier with that run than he was the last one. I'm sure he really felt he should have had that first down. The play gave him the first down. He sort of ankle tackled, but that time Wright out of Laurel Springs, New Jersey, just knifes that ball over right guard, right tackle up behind the fullback.
Wright and Darnell Barnes have shared the running back responsibilities most of the way for Western Connecticut so far this afternoon. A minute 19 to go in the first half, 13-10. Western Connecticut's Colonials with the lead. right is hit and hard at the 28-yard line. Big tackle by Joe Adubato for Plymouth State. And number 77, Wayne Millett, was involved in that as well.
I think we might have a holding call on Western Connecticut as well. But Adubato, we talked about him before, Tom, sliding out and reacting. Extremely active at that defensive tackle position. 6'1", 245 out of Saugus, Massachusetts, Saugus High School. Watch 75 just react out. Play forced in. Justin Wright thinks he has a cutback. No cutback there. Big Adubato stuffs the play.
Well, it's an unusual name, so you tend to remember it. Adubato, he's one of the co-captains of this Plymouth State football team, but we remember it from the game last year here at Courier Field against Bridgewater State, when he was doing things like that on a fairly regular basis. He's a very prominent member of the Plymouth State defense.
Great football tradition at Saugus High School, hard about Route 1. You go right by the high school in the field as you head north on 1 out of Boston, and Adubato's having himself a good football game.
52 ticks left in the first half. Quick pass complete out to the left side for Gale Saunders, and down with no gain, right at the 15-yard line. The snap and then the pass quickly out to Saunders, but he was taken down right away. Clock running at 36 seconds now.
Linebacker Rocky Criscone, and when you get a linebacker to make that kind of athletic play on a wide receiver, you've got a pretty good linebacker. And out of Burn Hills, New York, Rocky Criscone, 6 foot, 206-pound linebacker. Nice play.
18 seconds to go in the first half. Western Connecticut leading 13-10, and they have the ball. They are a long way from the goal line at the other end, but here is something by Justin Wright that for a moment looked like it could develop, and he does come out with a gain of about 10 yards or so to the 28-yard line, and that will be the end, and it is the end of the first half of play, with the score 13-10, and the lead for Western Connecticut State's Colonials. We'll be back with halftime after this on Nesson.
Well, first half, excuse me, let me cough and get squared away. Excuse me. 13-10, Western Connecticut leads. First touchdown. The first scoring was a 40-yard field goal by Plymouth State College, but the second score, 16-yard pass, great pass, Matt Lefevre to Robert Bell right down the well. Bell keeps that one leg in, 4:21. They missed the extra point. That was just a beautiful catch, beautiful throw from Lefevre to Bell. Then it was William Martin, and this is a beautiful pass off a fake reverse. Matt Gessner, 35 yards, and he's got to be 35 yards in the open as Gessner throws a ball to Bell, to Martin rather. The first time Gessner has thrown a ball in competition this season, and he completes the pass to Bell. The extra point by Adam Kennett was good. That made the score 13-3. So it looked bleak for Plymouth State College, but they put together just a tremendous ground attack, culminated by this dipsy-do move by Jose Raymond out of Wakefield, Massachusetts. 17-yard run. That was at 9:39 of the second quarter. That made it 13-10 on Paul Descoli's extra point, and that's where we are right now, 13-10.
And the kickoff. Plymouth State takes it at the 25-yard line. Charlie Schubert. Schubert up the middle, goes down at the 33 or 34-yard line. And Plymouth starts on the offense in the second half, trailing 13-10. They are defending the south goal, and Western Connecticut defending the north here in the third quarter.
Now, there you see the statistics for the first half. First downs go to Plymouth State, yards rushing to Plymouth State, passing to Western Connecticut. The total yards just about even. Third down conversions, Plymouth State's way ahead in that category, but they're behind on the scoreboard.
First and 10 for the Panthers. Schubert wide to the right side for PSC. A handoff by Drew Williams, the tailback, and finds a little slot, comes up to the 39 to the 40-yard line for a gain of 5. Not a lot of room there, but he sliced through.
No, he did, and he picked up 5 yards. You remember, Tom, that Plymouth State College's best success in this football game has come when they have decided to go jawbone to jawbone with Western Connecticut and run the ball in the off-tackle hole with toss and just run the football at them and try to establish a ground game down the field. That time they made about 6 yards.
Here's 2nd and 4. Botts the fullback and Williams the tailback for Plymouth State. Williams again. Doesn't get a whole lot. To the line of scrimmage, maybe +2. Third down, going to say 3 yards to go on the third down for the Panthers.
Yeah, that kind of running style that Williams demonstrates, does not enable him most of the time to be able to make good yardage with forward lean as you're heading through traffic. He's too upright, and as a result, when he gets hit in that kind of traffic, he doesn't seem to be able to get the extra yardage.
Jose Raymond may be built more for that style.
Now, a little bit forward body lean.
13 minutes and 39 seconds to go early in the third quarter of play of the 13-10 ball game. Western Connecticut the lead, and on the defense, and well, there is nothing for Norris, who tried to get a pass away and ended up just slapping it into the ground as he was taken down.
Yeah, that's the strong side linebacker, Dave Corson, 6 foot, 220 pounds, out of Piscataway, New Jersey. They blitzed the outside linebacker on the strong side, and he just never had any time to throw the football at all. 18 tackles on the season for Dave Corson, Piscataway, New Jersey.
Boley
got away from Rutgers. That's right on the Rutgers campus almost.
Boley will punt to William Martin. Martin's already scored a touchdown for Western Connecticut on that reverse pass play. Martin crouches at the 26-yard line. Looks like he may have a chance. Nope, fair catch. Called for at the 27-yard line. T.J. Conroy moves from the right side to the left. Darnell Barnes, the tailback, takes the pitch. Avoids one tackler, cuts back, taken down at the 25-yard line. There's a gain of 3 on the play.
Rocky Criscone, who's playing exceptionally well for Plymouth State. Tight end makes the block, but Criscone just penetrates right behind the fullback, disrupts the whole flow of the play, slows it up, and enables the pursuit in the person of Dave Gibson to come over and make the tackle. But it's the outside linebacker, Criscone, out of Burn Hills, New York, that messes that play up.
And Gibson is the leading tackler for the season for Plymouth State. On second down, the pass is complete. Just inside and just in fair territory at the 44-yard line, and that'll be a 1st and 10 for Western Connecticut.
Well, I'm really impressed with how Lefevre has that soft touch. That's the pass that you're trying to throw between the short and deep man in the zone. You want to throw it to the crease of the zone, and it was delivered before Yakulo, the safety man, could get over and disrupt the play.
And Bell with the reception, number 84, 1st and 10 for the Colonials. They are 3-1. Plymouth State is 2-1. Big fullback Gagliardi takes it to the right side, lumbers out across the 45 to the 46-yard line. Couple of yards on the gain. Second down, 8 yards to go now for Western Connecticut.
Not to take anything away from Gagliardi, but anytime you force the fullback away from the inside and you make the fullback run outside, you're not going to be hurt too much offensively. Gagliardi there got about as much out of that play as he possibly could. 2 yards, maybe 1.5, but it's 2nd and 8.
Justin Wright is in and behind Gagliardi in the I set, takes the pitch, left side, juggled a little bit, gets a nice block, cuts inside, gets to midfield, and down at the 50-yard line, a gain of 4 yards for the tailback, Justin Wright.
Well, a defensive safety, strong safety to that side, Colt Meredith, very upset with himself there because he came up in a support position and he just gets cut as he was about to support the play. There's Meredith down on the ground. And that enabled the running back, Justin Wright, to turn that football upfield and pick up the yardage, picked up about 4. And Colt Meredith in pretty good position to transfer out of Northeastern, 6'1", 200 pounds, got knocked off his feet.
Gale Saunders goes wide to the right side, and Mark Gessner is split left. Throw is over the middle to Conroy. 1st and 10, Western Connecticut, and Conroy carries people with him to the 35-yard line. 1st down, Colonials.
Well, we're going to give a star there to the offensive line of Western Connecticut because they caught Plymouth State College in a blitz. They picked people up, quick release, tight end just must have read. I don't know whether there was an automatic blitz read, but there was a blitz inside, and the tight end just sort of dropped himself over the middle. Quarterback, quick release, got him the football, caught Plymouth State in the perfect defense for that pass to be completed.
Ed Wiltshire comes in from the sidelines with the play. He's 6'3" and a wide receiver split wide to the far side of the field. I formation for the Colonials on 1st and 10. 10:51 to go. Handoff for Justin Wright. Powers left side to the 33-yard line.
This is an extremely important series for Plymouth State College. They have not shown an ability to dominate offensively against Western Connecticut. And now you're down 13-10. You give yourself a 10-point deficit, you know, within the second half of the football game. I think you got a real uphill climb because Western Connecticut has been playing good defense. And what you've done best is dominate on the ground, which runs some time off the clock. So they got to keep this game exactly where it is to give them their best chance to win, obviously.
Now a timeout taken by Western Connecticut State with 10:17 to go in the third quarter. 10:17 to go, third quarter. 13-10 the count. Western Connecticut with the lead, although Plymouth State scored first on a 40-yard field goal back in the first quarter. But Western Connecticut has led since then. That's Coach Mike Kemp, second-year coach of the Panthers of Plymouth State.
Yeah, look at concern on his face, and that's because this is a crucial series. Western Connecticut moving it pretty well.
That's Conroy adjusting to the right side. The I formation is behind the freshman quarterback. Pitch is to the tailback. Flings one up in the air. It's hanging, and it is broken up between the goal line and the 5. That was a jump ball situation, akin to a Hail Mary.
Well, it was. Unlike the reverse pass, which was pretty well thrown, that was just a wing and a prayer on this one. Toss pass out of unbalanced line. Nothing out there to the right side. That's where he was trying to go. Back against the grain to the left side. Knocked down by Plymouth State College. The intended receiver there was Gale Saunders.
Now it's third down and 8. Matt Lefevre is the freshman quarterback for Western Connecticut. Has played very well. He rolls to the right side, may decide to keep it, and it does, and is down close to a 1st and 10.
That's a pretty good play by Rocky Criscone because there was a lot of area open over there on the right side when Lefevre started to roll right. Sprint out pass option was pretty well covered, but boy, I'll tell you, he had a chance to tuck it under his arm, and Criscone came over and makes the tackle. Now you watch right here. He sees all that room, and he's going to tuck it and go. But Criscone comes over and makes a tackle. That was a first down saving tackle by Rocky Criscone, outside linebacker for, or inside linebacker for Plymouth State College. Field goal.
I was looking at the wrong white line, not really close to a first down at all, and they try the field goal, and it is going to be way short. The ball was spotted at the 35-yard line, which made it a 45-yard try, and it's no good, so Plymouth State will take over, trailing by 3 with 9 minutes and 21 seconds to go.
Yeah, Adam Kennett, as longest this year, is 36. I saw him before the game kick a couple from the 40, 42-yard line, so he's got the leg to do it, but he had some problems with any consistency of really putting a foot on the ball from that distance. Looked like he was forcing it. He'd get one over and then sort of stub a couple, as he did on that one.
He was 4 for 6 for the season coming into this game, so he is now 4 for 7, is the leading scorer among kickers in the Freedom Football Conference. So now Plymouth State tries to go the other way with their eye, and Jose Raymond is the running back, pulled away from one tackler and another and a third, and they have to swarm him. This kid's only 5'4" and is tough to bring down. Well, very little gain, stopped at the 30.
Whatever he got out of that, it was very little gain, but whatever he got out of that, he got on individual effort, and he was looking at a -1 on the original play. He makes the 2 yards that he gets on this. That's a -1 right there, and now he just works himself forward, gets across the line marker at the 30-yard line, and picks up about a yard beyond the 30.
Second down and 8 for Plymouth State. 8 minutes and 45 seconds to play in the third quarter. Sinatro, the fullback. Norse drops all the way back to throw, and it is incomplete. Boley had it and was not able to hold on, or they do call it a completed pass. They say he lost it after he hit the ground. The pass is complete. It's going to be just short, it appears, of a first down.
Well, they have the tight end crossing from right to left. You can see him right there.
Gain of 7 yards, third down and 1.
Well, what they're saying is that the ground causes that fumble. Usually that's a call made on AstroTurf.
3rd and 1 for Plymouth State. The ball on their 36-yard line. Jose Raymond has the first down. At 5'4", he runs like a guy much bigger Wow, he's out to the 45-yard line. A very impressive afternoon for Jose Raymond, tailback for the Panthers.
Yeah, not to take anything away from Bydro Williams, but in this kind of traffic from tight end to tackle, Jose Raymond's style is a more effective style against Western Connecticut because there's just not a lot of room to run in there. You got to have a little forward lean to make yardage.
First down, 10, Plymouth State. Trying to win their 15th in a row. They fake the pitch and hand it instead to the fullback, Sinatro. And Sinatro across the 45 to the 47-yard line. It is in 14 consecutive meetings between these two teams. Plymouth State has won. They lead the overall series 19-1. Western Connecticut has never won on this field in 10 straight tries. So there are a lot of streaks that are on the line with this ball game.
Yeah, it's the second time they've run counter off a toss fake, and they picked up about 9 yards the last time. That time Sinatra only made a couple.
2nd and 8. Schubert wide to the near side. Norse going to keep it himself as he rolls left, going a long way to the 35-yard line and into Western Connecticut territory on the bootleg left.
Well, I'll tell you, that was a bootleg action, and he gets a great block downfield from a kid out of Manchester West High School, Chris Bowl. Here comes Norse on the bootleg. Now watch 86. 86 Bowl, superb block there and a kick out. Gave an extra 6 or 7 yards. That was bootleg. When he saw all the room, when he turned out there, he just took the ball under his arm and ran with it.
An 18-yard pickup for the quarterback, Josh Norse. 1st and 10, the Panthers. They trail by 3, but are on the move. This has been a most impressive drive. Defensive lineman across and back. Handoff Raymond pulls through into the clear momentarily, and he is another 10 yards or thereabouts. Close to a first and 10 again for Plymouth State.
Jose Raymond really putting it together now. Just cut that thing back behind the fullback. Look at how he just stayed right on the tail of his fullback, Sinatro, and enables him to pick up the yardage. Read the fullback's block beautifully. Boy, that was a great shot of how you read the fullback on that inside ISO. You saw Raymond behind Sinatro, and Sinatro just makes a little block to his left, our right, as we look at it. Just creases the linebacker, and Raymond breaks right back up inside of him to pick up the yardage.
And it's 1st and 10, Plymouth State. Most impressive drive. They have moved downfield in fairly large chunks.
Yeah, when they scored their last touchdown, this is the way they did it too, Tom. They just went nose to nose with Western Connecticut and just ran the ball tackle to tackle with an occasional toss and counter mixed in.
Joel Carey is wide to the right side. Sinatro is the fullback and Raymond is the tailback. Long count for Josh Norse. Raymond gets hit behind the line and spins just back to the line of scrimmage. No gain. If there was any, it was less than a yard.
That was an excellent play by Kevin Reed, the defensive end to the left side out of Stamford, Connecticut. As he saw that play, that was isolation up over left guard and left tackle, and he came in from his defensive left end position right down the line of scrimmage and made the play.
5 minutes and 37 seconds. A quickly moving third quarter. 13-10 is the score. There has been no scoring as yet in the second half of this ball game.
Well, it's an infantry period.
Norse going to throw it. Is hit just as he released the ball, and it fell harmlessly, nowhere close to anyone in either a green or a white jersey. The only person on that side of the field that could have been intended for was Charlie Schubert, but the mustard was taken out of the pass with the hit.
Sometimes, I think we try to get a little too clever. Plymouth State College is just pasting the dickens out of Western Connecticut up front, running the football. They got a little nick right there. They only made a yard, but they're in 4-down territory. And, they went to the pass, and I always thought from a coaching standpoint, when I was getting creamed up front and they put themselves in a no-completion situation, it was a plus for the defense.
And that was Craig Wilson who made the hit on Norse, and this pass is just off the hands of Brent Bartolini as he crossed the goal line incomplete.
Bartolini had a step, and that was just a little bit overthrown. Bartolini ran a post down straight, broke it over at about 10 yards over the middle of the defense. Ball slightly overthrown.
Well, we're going to try another long field goal, or set up for one.
42, the longest for Descoli. This one will be from the 28-yard line. 45.
That's going to be the 32 where it goes down. And there's his kick. Boy, the bid to tie it, and it's good. It's a tie football game with 5 minutes and 9 seconds to go in the third quarter. Another long field goal
Boy, he
for
killed
Paul
that
Dascoli.
He just creamed that ball. 42-yard field goal. Is that 42 or?
That matches the longest of his season. 42 yards. His earlier today was 40. And here it is again. And watch the reaction for Plymouth State. Josh Norris, the holder, and the field goal is good by number 18, Paul Dascoli. And, yep, and you helped it across with a body English.
Well, he kicked the dickens out of that ball. You know, that ball was across the crossbar by about 8 to 10 yards, so he's got a little bit more in him than that. That was a good kick.
Ball game is even with 5 minutes and 9 seconds to go in the third quarter. Western Connecticut at 13-13 with Plymouth State. The numbers 2 and 3 ranked teams in Division III in New England this week. The number 1 ranked team is unbeaten Coast Guard, and all 3 of those teams play in the Freedom Football Conference. Here's Dascoli with the kickoff. Gets a pretty good leg into that one, and Saunders takes it at the 6-yard line. Wall of blockers in front of him. Saunders comes up the middle and gets a pretty good return out of it. Back to the 31-yard line, and Western Connecticut begins the offense from there. That's a 30-yard return. Western Connecticut, 1st and 10, draw play for Justin Wright.
Number 22, Justin Wright on the carry.
Gained a little yardage, not a lot. 4 minutes and 49 seconds to go. Plymouth State, yeah, some of the fans. There's Joe Dudek.
He's right to your right.
Hall of Fame player, yeah, just down to our right in the College Football Hall of Fame, living now in Derry, New Hampshire. Scored 79 touchdowns when he played football here between 1982 and 1985.
That's not bad.
No, not too bad. The man's record that he broke, his name is Peyton Walter. Pass for Saunders is incomplete. Out to the right side. Plymouth State grabbed the lead in this game. 8:05 to go in the first quarter on a field goal, a 40-yarder by Dascoli. And then Western Connecticut scored to take a 6-3 lead, missed the extra point also in the first quarter, and scored again for a 13-3 lead on a 35-yard pass play off a reverse. It was 13-3 at that point. Plymouth then scored on a 17-yard Jose Raymond run, and it was 13-10 at halftime, and that field goal by Paul Dascoli has tied the game with 4:21 to go in the third quarter, 13 all. Western Connecticut with the ball. The pass by Lefevre, intended again for Saunders, and incomplete.
Yeah, he didn't throw that ball particularly well. That was sort of a errant pass out to the right side. I don't think they would have had the first down anyway, but one of the things that Lefevre's been able to avoid here, he just looks like he loses the ball when he throws. You can see how badly it was thrown out of bounds. Defensive coaches are psyched about that play, as that pass was intended for Western Connecticut's Gale Saunders. They're punting.
Left-footed punter, line drive, low line drive. Bartolini takes it over the right shoulder, trying to find a little bit of room, gives ground again, going to the far side, cuts away from a tackler, has a blocker in front of him. There he goes, sideline, and Bartolini is back to the 47-yard line. And the handoff. This is Bydro Williams, and Williams gets across midfield to the other 49-yard line. Somebody said when we had that shot of Joe Dudek, he's just down to your right. I didn't realize they meant about 4 people down to my right up here in the booth.
Yeah, I'm not sure that Bydro Williams is the right back to have in this football game at this time. I'm sure there are other times that he'd be very, very effective, but this is a tackle-to-tackle running attack football game right now for Plymouth State, and the Raymond is the guy they need to have in there.
Panthers with 2nd down and 8. Norse checked with his receivers. Schubert out to the right side, and Carey as well. He is intending the pass for Carey, and he's held up as he tried to get free down the sideline. The pass falls incomplete.
Well, that's pretty good coverage by Western Connecticut. That was a blitz read, audible call by the quarterback. The Western Connecticut's defense was coming on a blitz. Man-to-man coverage on the wide side. L'Enfantant made a nice play. He just never let the receiver release into the pattern. Stayed right in front of him. The only way he could have gotten into the pattern was go out of bounds, and that takes you out of the play.
So Bartolini is wide this time to the right side for the Panthers. Full house in the backfield on the shotgun. And Norse aims a bomb for Bartolini downfield, and Bartolini's got it and tackled at the 7-yard line. Really first and goal for Plymouth State.
Gene McCray has played so well all game long. That was a long post pattern that they just overthrew in the second quarter, Tom. In the second quarter, they had Bartolini on a post. He was really ticked off that he didn't get the football because he was wide open. Here he runs a long post out of shotgun formation, beats McCray, and this one, pitch and catch. Norse had the ball right on the money there.
First and goal for Plymouth State. They tied the game moments ago with a field goal and could take the lead if they score on this series. This is Jose Raymond, and Jose gets banged around as he took the pitch at the 10-yard line, got to the 8, and then there were people bumping off of him, and he may have lost a yard, may have gotten back to the line of scrimmage.
Well, the defensive right perimeter for Western Connecticut did a nice job there. The right defensive tackle, Jim Sharp, the right defensive end, Craig Wilson, they just didn't give him anywhere to run outside at all on toss, and it was forced back into the linebacker traffic inside.
Joel Carey comes wide out here to the right side. Botts is the fullback, and Raymond again is the tailback for Plymouth State on second and goal. Fake the handoff to Raymond. Norse camps and throws, and it's complete for the touchdown over in the far corner of the end zone. 86, Boley. Chris Boley is the receiver, and the Panthers take the lead at 19-13.
Out of Manchester West High School, Chris Boley, nice reception there. The big guy, 6'1", 240-pound tight end, finds himself open in the left corner of the end zone. Beautifully thrown ball by Norse. Gets Plymouth State College on the board.
Vascoli with the extra point try, and it is good, which makes the score Plymouth State 20 and Western Connecticut 13.
Watch this ball by Norse. That's the end right there, coming across the formation. 86 lines up right, comes across the formation left, loses the corner, ends up catching the ball in the deep corner of the end zone. What happens there, whenever you run a tight end across a formation from right to left, there's a good chance somebody's going to lose him. And that's exactly what happened. He just ran across the formation right to left. They gave the quarterback Norse time to throw the football, found him in the left corner of the end zone. Really wasn't a defender in position to make the play.
That for Boley is his second touchdown reception of the season. Will kick off for Plymouth State. Ball teed at the 35. Saunders is deep. Along with the tailback, Darnell Barnes, and it's Barnes who brings it back up just to the 17-yard line. And it'll be first and 10 there for Western Connecticut. Minute 55 to go in the third quarter.
Tommy, one of the toughest plays to defend in football as a defensive coordinator are any kind of pass pattern when you have crossing tight ends. Because those guys, you can handle a post pattern, you can handle the out pattern, the curls, but the crossing tight end across the formation, very difficult to defend. And that time, that tight end was open by about 6-7 yards in the end zone.
First and 10, Western Connecticut. Freshman quarterback, Lefevre, the throw for Saunders, has it at the 32-yard line and out of bounds. Well, we talked early in the telecast about the challenge that this Plymouth State defense could present for the freshman quarterback, Lefevre, and he's had a decent ball game.
Oh, he's done a very good job.
But the real challenge comes now.
Yeah, from the Western Connecticut standpoint, if you get play of a freshman quarterback such as they're getting from Lefevre, you've got to be pleased. You can't expect freshman quarterbacks to go around winning football games for you in the third and fourth quarter. He's played a fine game today.
He's thrown only one interception for the entire season, which for a freshman quarterback is really outstanding. A flag gets thrown in late. As the carry is out to the 34, maybe the 35-yard line.
Yeah, this is in the area usually associated with holding. We'll have to wait and see. Yeah, that's what it is.
Gessner to the left side, and that's the way the quarterback Lefevre rolls. Throws it for Saunders, intercepted at the 43-yard line. Turcotte skied at the 42 and brought it down, and Plymouth State has the ball back. First interception of the day, second of the year for the freshman quarterback Lefevre. Jose Raymond, the running back. Man across, back in time, handoff Raymond. Raymond bumps off a tackler. A flag goes down, and Raymond does too at the 34-yard line.
That's either an illegal block or a clip. That was played, call made by the umpire. And I think it's a illegal block or clip. Let's wait and see. Holding.
And it's against the
that's
Panthers.
What I said. It was either an illegal block or a clip.
A minute 17 seconds. Clock is stopped at that point. Less than a minute to go in the third quarter. It's 1st and 18 for the Panthers. I formation. Sinatro and Raymond. Norris to throw with time. And fires, and it is intercepted, incomplete. Excuse me, it went off the hands of the defender, and it popped up in the air. It kind of looked like it may have hit the ground with that big hop, but that was off a defender, and so when it was up in the air with that big hop, it was a live ball.
Well, I tell you, Brian Sinatro, the fullback, throws a great block on this sprint-out pass. He just knocks Kevin Reed, the defensive end. Watch the fullback here. Take on 44, just knock him right off his feet. That sets up the pass for Norris to be able to have some time to throw that ball. Great block by the fullback. And Norris,
off his right arm.
Norris took that time to throw it into traffic. It was anybody's ball.
So here's 2nd and long for the Panthers. Throwing on 1st down and 2nd. Norris, long downfield. It is incomplete. Schubert diving for it. Couldn't get there. 20-13 Plymouth State in the green and the black. Norris shotgun. Chased. Scrambling across the line of scrimmage. Going to gain some ground. Short, well short of a 1st down. And it'll be 4th down for Plymouth State. Chris Boley is the Plymouth State punter. Gets a good snap. High, short kick, spiraling. Martin falls. There is no flag in the Western Connecticut crowd directly in front of us. Now a flag is thrown in there.
Interference.
At about the point the ball was, where the ball was laying.
Yeah, it's interference with the fair catch, opportunity to catch the football. That's what the call is going to be.
I saw Martin go down, didn't see him get hit.
It was called by all the fans over here on the
before the flag,
Connecticut side before the referee ever threw the flag.
Oh, there it was, yeah. Kemp for Plymouth State, Servino for Western Connecticut. 1st and 10 for Western Connecticut, their own 18-yard line. This is the tailback, Justin Wright. 2 seconds, and there will be one more play before the end of the third quarter as he went out of bounds. This is 2nd down and 2 for the Colonials. Justin Wright again is well met at the line of scrimmage, and he may have gotten a little bit after that on some second effort, but I still think he's short of the 1st down. That is, however, the end of the third quarter. So we'll get a break and go to the final 15 minutes of football between Western Connecticut State and Plymouth State after this. 10 times, and they've been shut out 4 of those 10. Handoff for the fullback, Gagliardi, and a short gain for Western Connecticut. They only needed a couple of yards for a 1st down. Don't think they got that.
No, he may not have made it. That looks like that ball is about 2 feet over the yard line. Now, somebody saying there's a flag. Yeah, offside, Plymouth State College. Have Plymouth State take it over again.
And he will throw now on 1st and 10 over the middle, and that is very close to intercepted. Just diving in. The pass was intended for Mark Gessner, and Chris Yaculo went diving in front of him, and I think got a piece of that pass. May have deflected it so that Gessner was not able to hold on.
Well, what the coaches will tell him, he really steers this one in here. He's trying to aim this ball right down the middle, sees Gessner coming across. He just doesn't get much on it. Tries to steer it into him and really put that ball in there where it could have been intercepted because he just didn't have much whip on the ball.
2nd down and 10. And they'll throw on 2nd down. But there's things messed up between the quarterback and Gessner, the receiver. Quarterback threw it where Gessner was. Gessner went downfield, and the ball ended up a good 5 yards behind him.
Yeah, that was a misread. You had 2 receivers over there, both running longer kinds of patterns. So you had Saunders and Gessner. Now, Gessner does a turnout, then heads upfield, but you'll see that both of them are heading in the same spot. See, Gessner and Saunders would have been in the exact same spot had Gessner continued on. So somebody ran a bad pattern. My guess is that Gessner misread the play, but sometimes difficult to tell.
Saunders and Gessner are both wide to the right side, and Ed Wilcher to the left. Wilcher, a 6'3", very lanky receiver. Here's a pass floated out. It's intended for Saunders. Couldn't get it. Mr. Bartolini is back, waiting for another punt return try at his own 35-yard line. A low snap from center. The left-footed kick is away, and it's a line drive spiral taken at the 31-yard line by Bartolini. Heads directly upfield, dances away from a few people, and now is down, and there is a flag as well at the 36-yard line.
That's a pretty good run by Bartolini. You know, you want him to head upfield, and that time he didn't do any movement there after he catches the ball. We've seen him do some 360 pirouettes after he's caught the ball, but that time he just headed upfield and then tried to slice that thing left and made some decent yardage out of the punt, but flag on the play. Penalty against Plymouth State College. They seem to be heading backwards. My guess clip.
38-yard punt and a 5-yard return. It was a low line drive kick, and they'll walk off some yardage against Plymouth State. That'll move the ball back to the Plymouth State 25-yard line. I formation. Receivers split to the left and to the right. It's Schubert to the near side. And the pitch is to Jose Raymond. Behind a block by Mark Botts. Good hard hit on Raymond at the 30-yard line, but it'll be a gain of about 5 yards. 85, maybe 90 yards or thereabouts. I formation again. And Norse to throw. Has time. Fires out here. It is batted away. Intended for Bartolini. And that's McLean again. Big play right here. 3rd and 5. Back goes Norse. Pass is down the middle. It's intended for Schubert, and Schubert makes the reception. That's like a rebounder in basketball, blocking his man off and keeping him on his hip and on his shoulder. The defender was behind him, and he made sure he stayed there, and it's at the 42-yard line of Western Connecticut. 1st and 10 for Plymouth State.
Well, sometimes there aren't a lot of choices, but on this play, McLean gets on the wrong side of Schubert, and as a result, he cannot come back and get the ball. See, he's behind him, and as a result, Schubert's able to block him off. Schubert, an outstanding receiver, first catch of the ball game.
Keep him on your back. Plymouth State 1st and 10 with a 7-point lead at 20-13. 13 minutes to go in the ball game. Handoff, Jose Raymond straight ahead. Over 4 yards per carry. Schubert is the receiver to the left side on this set for Plymouth State. And Raymond once again is the tailback. Andrew Levitt wide to the right side. A handoff. And a gain just to the 35-yard line. That'll be a gain of 2. Once again, Jose Raymond.
I'll tell you, he beats that tackler right there. He might have gone a long way. That was a blitz inside by Western Connecticut. Man-to-man coverage on the outside. And they just couldn't converge on Raymond to make the tackle.
This is what you were saying, Bob, that Western Connecticut certainly didn't need, with some kind of a drive by Plymouth State. And this one has them now down to the Western Connecticut 35-yard line. 3rd and just, well, the scoreboard says 2. It looks more like 3 yards to go for the first down. People from both sides are across. 20-13 is the count. Plymouth State with the lead. They also have the ball, but it's 3rd down and 7. And another offside call. This was number 63, I believe, over on the right side. Who twitched. 3rd down and 12, so they go to the shotgun. Norris throws for Bartolini. Can't get there. Had some room, sprawled at the 12-yard line, and the ball was just beyond it.
Well, they've run that pattern 3 times, once for a touchdown and 2 incomplete. That time, what helped a little bit was they got some pressure on the quarterback, and Norris had to get rid of the football. He was under some duress. Western Connecticut came with blitz. Now Plymouth State College is going to punt the ball. They may have too many men on the field. Let's be careful here. Boy, they did a quick substitution. I always worry about how many guys you got out there.
Those 2 penalties, by the way, pushed Plymouth State out of field goal range. Good snap from center. Boy, they put the rush on. A high but short kick for Plymouth State that bounces at the 30-yard line. Takes a pretty good roll for the Panthers. Rolls dead at the 21. Yeah, after the fact, it came to mind those 2 5-yard penalties had probably driven them out of Dascoli's range. He already has 40 and 42-yard field goals. Now on 1st down, very little for Western Connecticut. on the run by the tailback Justin Wright, and they need to move the ball now.
Deep in their own territory, but they could have had more.
Justin Wright stays in as the tailback. And that's Conroy, who adjusts his position from left to right, and the pass is thrown incomplete.
The difficulty that the quarterback, Lefevre, had right there is there's a little too much action up in his face to throw sort of a finesse pass to the fullback in the flat. It's just a little too difficult to throw that kind of ball, and he was nowhere near a completion.
And you saw Coach John Servino of Western Connecticut. He is 0-5 against Plymouth State in his coaching career at Western Connecticut. They've lost 39-35, 33-14, 28-19, and 36-6. Now they trail 20-13. Freshman quarterback Lefevre is wrapped up and taken down at the 15-yard line.
That's excellent coverage by Plymouth State College. They rushed 4 and covered with 7. They didn't come with any pressure whatsoever in that situation, and Cyril Allison, one of the 4 front men, ended up putting enough pressure on him to get the cover. See, they cover 7, so now when the quarterback Lefevre goes back, he's got 7 out there covered. He really can't find anybody open. Allison comes up off the ground and makes a tackle. You know, he had enough time to throw the football. That was a coverage sack.
4th down, the punt comes from the goal line. That one's going to sail, and it does. Bounces at the 39-yard line, and the tackle is made at the 37-yard line. -2 and no return, and a 48-yard punt. Boy, that one just took off, and a timeout on the field with 9:11 to go in the ball game. 20-13 Plymouth State. 3 and out for Western Connecticut, and Plymouth State has it back and a chance to use up more time on the clock. Jose Raymond is met behind the line of scrimmage and stopped there for possibly a loss of a yard, at most no gain.
So, I mean, Western Connecticut needs a big defensive play to turn this field position situation around. Even if they stop Plymouth State here, they're going to be starting off deep in their own territory again, and they've exhibited, as the game has gone on, an inability to establish any kind of ground game.
Correct me if I'm wrong. We haven't seen a fumble all day.
I don't believe we have, but I may be wrong.
8:38 to play. 7-point Plymouth State lead. Fake the pitch. Norris keeps and throws. It is complete, but the pass was made with the knee down at the 47-yard line. Shaw was the receiver for Plymouth State.
As bootleg pass to the tight end. Tight end just went down and out. Quinzel Barnes was right there defensively. The bootleg faked the action left, come off to your right, play pitch and catch with the tight end, running a little out pattern. Quinzel Barnes just slightly behind the ball.
That's the first reception of the year for Shaw. Schubert wide to the left side, and Carey to the right. Hand off for Jose Raymond. Goes diving into the middle of the line and is up to the 49-yard line. Yet another flag is thrown.
Well, offside, defensive offside, I think here, and this is going to be a first down anyway. Made the first down, so they can take the play. They can take the 5 yards here. They'll take the penalty because it's probably a wash. I think they probably made 5 yards on the rush.
Looks like they made it maybe about 4, Bob.
Yeah, they're going to take the penalty and march it off. Need a play.
Brent Bartolini wide to the left side, and Carey over on the far side of the field. Norris hands it off to the tailback. Raymond has a good push in front of him and pushes down to the 45 or 46-yard line in Western Connecticut territory. Time running short now for the Colonials.
Yeah, it is, and you've got a desperate secondary here, and I think that in this situation, the quarterback, Norris, has to be careful if he puts the ball up in the air, because you know that Western Connecticut knows they need to pick something off to make this thing turn around, so they'll take some chances in the secondary. You have to be careful that you put the ball where you want to put it.
Schubert left. Another wide receiver is Levitt to the far side. Short drop. Norris floats one out for Schubert, and it is incomplete. Schubert, number 21, was covered defensively for Western Connecticut by number 21, John Cassell. And the pass was incomplete.
Yeah, Cassell in that situation, Schubert going down the left side. Jason Cassell had pretty good inside position. I thought he was in a position where he might have been able to pick the ball off, but the ball, I think, was thrown beyond both of them.
6 minutes and 41 seconds to go. 20-13, Plymouth State. 3rd down and 7. Time of possession in the second half. Man,
well, that's what a ground game will do, and the inability to run the football.
Long shotgun. Norris puts it up in the air, and this is intercepted, and Western Connecticut has the ball back. But a long way to go, and 6 minutes and 33 seconds to do it. LaFontaine with the interception at the 18-yard line of the afternoon for Western Connecticut. Lefevre, the quarterback, gets taken down, and that doesn't help.
Well, what's happened here is what always happens when you can't run the football. Yeah, Western Connecticut essentially has not been able to run the football in the second half, and Plymouth State College just teeing off on the pass here, putting a lot of pressure on. That time they get pressure from the inside. Cyril Allison again with the sack out of Dover, New Hampshire. Excuse me, that was Billy Lawrence on that sack. Billy Lawrence out of St. Thomas Aquinas High School in Dover, New Hampshire.
Taken 3 and out, 3 and out. Throughout the second half for Western Connecticut, and the same thing. Lefevre under pressure again and dropped again. Yet another sack. This series started at the 19-yard line. Sack, and the ball is now back at the 10-yard line. And it's 3rd and 19 for Western Connecticut, who really, they need the ball. They've got to move, get some yardage, and they don't want to give it back to Plymouth State.
Well, yeah, the problem they've got is they can't run it. And that time Kevin Ebert made the tackle. But, you know, when they had the ball at the beginning of the quarter, even at the end of the second quarter, the third quarter, they had plenty of time in the clock, but Plymouth State has stuffed the run. And when you stuff the run, you're out of options, and you're trying to ask a freshman quarterback to march you down the field through the air. Not easy.
Lefevre's pass over the middle is incomplete. And 4th down for Western Connecticut. And that's been the story most of the second half, Nort. 3 downs and kick it.
I don't think you can win, and that's where they are now. Plymouth State's defense played great against the run.
Brent Bartolini. That was a punt off of a low snap, and Bartolini allows the ball to roll dead. And Plymouth State will start it at the Western Connecticut 38-yard line. 4 minutes and 58 seconds left. Plymouth State has the ball. Points here would make it almost impossible for Western Connecticut. They need to get the ball back as quickly as possible. Handoff for Jose Raymond for Plymouth State. Raymond rips down to the 33-yard line, and that's going to be a gain of 5.
You know, Western Connecticut coming into today's game has averaged 206 yards on the ground in 4 games. And they're 3rd in the league in rushing offense. And they have had the ball hardly at all in this third quarter, and fourth quarter, second half, when they're only 7 points down. And the reason for that is they can't rush the ball here.
77 yards today on the ground for Western Connecticut.
Yeah, not much in the second half either. The second half has been non-existent.
4 minutes and 19 seconds, clock running. 2nd down and 5 for Plymouth State, and the pitch for Raymond. Raymond gets hit once, is held up and taken down at the 30-yard line. Somebody had him by the leg, and he couldn't pull away. He gains 3 more.
Yeah, and on the other side of the coin, the Western Connecticut defense has played pretty effectively. However, Plymouth State College has been able to run the ball, make first downs, put first downs back-to-back, make enough yardage, run enough time off the clock to control possession. It hasn't been 3 and out for them most of the time because they've had a ground game and been able to establish a running attack.
Now, what do we see a little while ago? 20 minutes of possession in the second half for Plymouth State, only 3 plus some seconds for Western Connecticut. Here's 3rd down and 2. Plymouth State may be about to rack up another first down, although not on this play. Raymond got hit, gets bumped, gives up ground, and ends up losing some yardage back to the 34-yard line.
You know, you got to give Western Connecticut's defense a lot of credit because the counterpoint to that is your defense is on the football field an awfully long time and should be getting tired, but these kids have played with great attitude and great spirit, and they've really honked this game through all the way along. Now, this is real good defense. Corson is a tough kid at 6 foot, 220 junior. They get real good pressure inside there by Desmond Cabrera. He makes the tackle, but a whole flock of guys are on the play.
Ball for the field goal try, spotted down at the 39-yard line. This one is well short by Paul Dascoli. John Gagliardi is the lone running back behind Lefevre. Lefevre throws it out on the flat. Intended for Mark Gessner out there, and it is defensed by Mark Turcotte. That's Gessner number 10, Turcotte number 7 in the green, and it's 2nd down and 10.
Problem that they have right now, in addition to, you don't have a lot of time to run the ball, is that Plymouth State College, with 9 interceptions, a ball-hawking defensive secondary, and you just know a whole bunch of guys back there looking to pick one off.
Gessner out to the left. Now they do hand it off, and there is absolutely nothing there. And the running back, Justin Wright, is taken all the way back to the 17-yard line. That's going to be a loss of about 15.
Well, it's a terrible result, but it's not a bad call. In this situation, you just got to try to do something other than give this throw every single down, and they're trying to run draw in here. But you've got the Billy Lawrence right in the face of that draw play that owes the inside tackle for Plymouth State.
And on 3rd down, the loss was 12, and now Lefevre goes down again. Just a swarming Plymouth State defense that has averaged just 9 points per game. Well, they gave up 13 points in the first quarter this afternoon to Western Connecticut, but that's all they've given up. And in the second half, they've just been outstanding.
Well, you've got to be kidding. Don't even send anybody back here. They've got Schubert back to receive this punt. I wouldn't have anybody back there. There's 1 minute and 37 seconds to go.
The punt almost blocked. It's wobbling, and it's going to fall and go out of bounds. And inside the 30-yard line, down about the 27-yard line. And with 1 minute and 26 seconds to go, that's where Plymouth State takes over. They already lead by 7. It would be very difficult for them to lose the ball game at this point.
I don't understand why you punt that ball. You really got 1 minute and 30 and change left to go in the ball game. You're not going to get the football back again unless you force a fumble, and Plymouth State doesn't fumble the ball all day. I don't know why, just take a shot at heave one up there, see if somebody make a catch.
1:25 to play in the game, and all Plymouth has to do is hold on to the football for the last 1 minute and 23 seconds now. Jose Raymond, who has really been a workhorse for the Panthers all afternoon, gets another couple or 3 yards.
Timeout.
178 total yards in the second half for Plymouth State, and only 39. That's total yards, rushing and passing, in the second half for Western Connecticut. Something must have been done in the locker room at halftime to change Plymouth State's defense around, or just make it more effective, but it's been excellent in the second half.
This was a game won by guys like Hebert Adebato, Lawrence Allison, Chris Cohn, Gibson, Busa, the defensive line. Leo Turner had some big plays here in the second half, and the offensive line, Prue Aracelian, Belmont Mason, and Horan, those guys played exceptionally well. The offensive line controlled the football at the line of scrimmage, and the defensive line just never let Western Connecticut get on track in the second half.
1:17 to go in the ball game, 20-13, Plymouth State with the ball. Jose Raymond still in at the tailback spot. Quarterback, Norse, gives it to Raymond. Raymond behind the blocker inside the 20-yard line. Plymouth State came into the game leading the Freedom Football Conference in total defense, in rushing defense, in passing defense, in scoring defense, in every defensive category. It's been indicated again in the game that we've seen this afternoon. Less than a minute to go, and the clock runs at 51 seconds.
Yeah, run one more play, and I don't think they have to run another one. Maybe. He's taking every second he can here. He's got 11 seconds on the play clock. This is smart football here by the quarterback. He's going to run it down to about 2 seconds.
4 and 3 on the play clock. And 1. Beautiful. And the pitch to Raymond, who gets hit and spun around and taken down at the 20-yard line. Talking about the Plymouth State defense, the last 14 plays that Western Connecticut State has run resulted in minus 32 yards. The freshman quarterback from Western Connecticut looking on. The Rookie of the Year in the Freedom Football Conference, Rookie of the Week for his 3-touchdown performance last week against William Patterson. With 25 seconds to go,
Does that run him out of timeout?
some changes, I think so.
Does that run them out? Are they out of time? That's the last one.
25 seconds on the clock. And a 20-13 lead as Mike Kemp and his coaching staff look on the far side of the field for Plymouth State. They are about to go to 3-1.
Great second half by Plymouth State College. Down at the half, 13-10. They've dominated this one. Field goal attempt.
Paul Dascoli will try to ice it with his third field goal of the day. And the kick is good. That makes it 23-13. And Plymouth State has looked very strong and is 25 seconds away from their third win of the season. Western Connecticut facing their second loss.
Yeah, you know, if you're Western Connecticut, what do you take out of this game? I think one of the things you take out of the game, obviously a disappointing loss, but, you know, I think their defense really hung in there and played tough in the second half because they were on that football field most of the second half as, you know, granted, Plymouth State College was able to nick them with the run, but they really didn't put the ball in the end zone, Plymouth State College, as much as they controlled the clock and controlled possession. And when you look at a team defensively, it was on the field as much as Western Connecticut was. They played pretty tough.
WCI 30-16.
So 23-13, Paul Dascoli with his third field goal of the afternoon for Plymouth State.
And in the third period,
Got to be frustrating for that man, John Servino. Comes in here with what's probably the best team that he's had and a team that played pretty well. Led going into halftime. Actually, they led at the end of the first quarter last year and were tied at the half. And it was a knuckleball kickoff. It's picked up by Darnell Barnes. Back up the middle, bounces off a tackle and goes down at the 30-yard line with 15 seconds to go.
Darnell Barnes on the return.
And yet his Colonials, talking about Coach Servino, are going to lose their 15th consecutive game against Plymouth State. The only win was back in 1976, 21 years ago, 17-7 on October the 30th. And he personally is now 0-6 against these Panthers. Lefevre flings one long, and it's intercepted. At the 33-yard line, it was intended well downfield for Robert Bell and was intercepted. And that, well, you may have one more play, but your ball game's over.
Chris Yaculo, I think, picked that one off out of White River Junction, Vermont. Played his high school football at Hartford High School, and Plymouth State College fattens up their interception stats. I think that's their second interception of the afternoon. That gives them 10 on the season. Did they have 2 or 3? I know they had 2 anyway.
Yeah, and there were 3 for Western Connecticut, 2 of them in the first half that looked like they could be telling in the ball game until the game turned the other way here in the second half.
But it's a nice feeling when you win. You know, coaches congratulate everybody and pat everybody on the back, and great game, way to go, way to go. And the losing team wants to find out where the bus is.
Snap touched the knee down, and the clock runs off the final 3 seconds. And the Plymouth State Panthers come out on the field to celebrate the victory as they have won it. And they go to 3-1 for the season and 2-0 in Freedom Football Conference play. The final score, Plymouth State 23, Western Connecticut State 13. And we'll be back and wrap things up here at Charles Currier Memorial Field in Plymouth, New Hampshire. Tom Larson and Bob Norton right after this.
How do you feel about the legalization of marijuana? Do you think it should be legalized?
Yeah, sure. Because doctors use it in treatment for some patients. I think it should.
Have you ever smoked it before?
Sure.
Did you smoke this morning? No.
All right, thank you.
Do you think it's addictive?
Do you have
Okay.
any to share?
How do you feel about the legalization of marijuana? You're for it?
No, for real, man. No, seriously, I am.
You're for it? Okay. Do you feel it's, are you a frequent user?
Kind. Yeah, sometimes.
Okay. Do you feel it's an addictive drug?
No.
Okay.
Not
Feel
at
it's
all.
unmotivational?
It makes you unmotivational?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Would you consider it more dangerous than alcohol?
No, definitely alcohol is more dangerous. Alcohol makes it so that you, I don't know, lose coordination, things like that, you know, but marijuana just makes you kind of sleepy.
Okay. Great. Thanks for your time.
No, I ain't sure.
Okay.
Legalize it to an extent.
Okay. How much of an extent do you feel you can grow? Should be able to grow it in your backyard?
Don't make the penalty so harsh for it. Like when you get locked up for it,
Okay.
smaller fines, medical reasons. Because I read in the Echo, the cop said we already got two legal drugs, nicotine and alcohol.
They don't want a third.
Marijuana might not help too much.
Right. Do you feel alcohol is more dangerous than marijuana?
Yeah, way
Okay.
more.
What about nicotine?
More addicted?
Probably is. But I'm addicted to marijuana too.
Do you feel marijuana should be legalized?
Yeah, they might as well. Everybody's smoking it anyways.
Right. Okay. Have you yourself used it?
I have used it, not on a regular
Okay.
basis though.
Okay. Do you feel it's addictive?
Nah, because I got like uncles that smoke it.
Okay. Now they hold down good jobs and are able to support their family and everything?
The one I'm thinking of owns like half of a business with another one of my uncles.
Okay.
He doesn't have a problem doing it.
Great. Do you feel it's more dangerous than alcohol?
No.
No? Okay. All right. Thanks for your time.
Okay, never.
Okay. How do you girls feel about the legalization of marijuana?
I think it should be legalized.
Okay. How come?
Well, there's a lot more serious drugs out there that they're not even worrying about. I think that marijuana is probably the least
Okay.
serious one out there.
Have you girls ever used it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Frequently or?
No.
No. Okay. Do you feel it's more addictive than, say, alcohol or nicotine?
No.
You as smokers, do you feel marijuana is more addictive than nicotine is?
No.
No.
I
Okay.
think alcohol's worse than marijuana.
Okay.
It is.
'Cause you can't operate a vehicle while you're under the influence of alcohol. And you can when you're stoned.
Okay. Very well.
Cool.
Gotta wait till the time.
I want to know where he got his Yankee
in the Bronx.
How do you gentlemen feel about the legalization of marijuana?
It's fine with us.
Fine with you?
I think they should legalize it because it's not any different than alcohol. And if you do it accordingly, just like alcohol, there's nothing wrong with it.
I think it's more dangerous than alcohol?
I think it's less dangerous.
Okay. If
I
it
haven't
was
seen too many fights with guys that are stoned versus guys that are drunk.
okay. If it was legalized, how do you think it should be distributed?
Either a package store style thing or a pharmacy type thing.
Okay, you think it should be legal to cultivate it in your backyard?
If you can make homebrew beer, why can't you do homegrown marijuana?
Okay. Good point.
No, I'm no.
talking just...
This is just theory.
Yes.
Okay. Can you gentlemen give your age if that's not?
Do you have to do that? I'm 40.
Okay, thanks.
42.
Perfect.
Hi.
How do you feel about the legalization of marijuana?
Well, I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
Okay, do you feel it should be legalized then?
I don't know about legalized, but it might help some people. Like
For health purposes, like people with cancer that undergo chemotherapy?
For health purposes, I think it should be legalized, but for personal use, besides medical reasons, I don't think that it should be legalized.
You're fine.
You don't think it's less dangerous than alcohol?
You have to use it in moderation, just like alcohol. You know, alcohol is good for some things. You know, my father says alcohol is good for some things. I don't know.
Okay.
But you have to use it in moderation. If you use too much of it, then you're gonna abuse it.
Do you drink a lot yourself? Like 4 times? Okay. What about have you smoke?
I smoked once.
Okay.
And that was it. I mean, not to the point where I was like tripping off or anything like that.
Okay.
Wait, is this gonna be on TV or anything?
18. Okay. How do you feel about the legalization of marijuana?
I don't care.
You don't care? Have you ever smoked marijuana yourself? Okay. Do you frequently smoke or just okay? Do you feel it's more dangerous than alcohol?
No.
Okay.
Hi, how are you?
How do you feel about the legalization of marijuana?
Indifferent.
Indifferent. Okay. Did you grow up in the 60s? Okay.
Did I smoke pot?
Yes.
No.
No? Okay. Did you have friends that smoked pot?
Plenty of them.
Okay. Now, are they successful today?
Absolutely.
Okay. Many of them are doctors and lawyers and even judges.
Nurses.
Okay.
No judges. No judges.
Okay.
But they're pretty respectable people, have families.
Okay, and they
kids.
support their families.
Absolutely.
Okay. Do you feel that it's more dangerous than alcohol?
I feel it's more dangerous than